Welcome to Boxing Fans Talk TV. I'm your host, CDT. You can refer to me as Miss T. And we're going to get into it today. I apologize for yesterday for not showing up. Had some technical difficulty. I had to reboot my computer. As y'all see, I got the other green screen. Isn't it lovely? Isn't she lovely? Okay. So before we get into what we're going to talk about today, remember today is Wednesday, MMM Day. I've asked the fellas to try to acclimate me, teach me something, get me into the sport. But hey, I'll wait on y'all. Until then, I'll talk about boxing. But first, let's turn to. Y'all tell me what y'all hear.
Who know how to do the water dance? Hey, yo, G, first turn on the water. See, that's what I'm talking about. Let it rock. We about to show y'all how to do the water dance. Can I get some kick, please? Kick it. Y'all ain't trying to party. Let me see everybody put your hands in the air. Huh? There we go. Y'all with me? Eat it with me. Everybody put your hands in there and do the water dance. Wait a minute. What's up, Dre? Minnesota Avenue to the house, too. The hood.
This is crazy.
We're gonna let it run. For the Southwest, Southeast, Northwest, and Northeast soldiers. Say what? Say what? Hey, man, this ain't the water. Let it run. Let it run.
Y'all let me know if y'all hear this.
Guess what, man? This ain't the water.
I got confirmation. I got confirmation that she.
Let me do it for the ladies. Hey, ladies. Hey, sexy. You want me to put you in the water? Is you with me, ladies? Hey, fellas.
This is not my song.
Hey, soldiers. You want me to put you in the water? That's what I'm talking about. The whole house. You want me to put you in the water? You want me to put you in the water? You want me to put you in the water?
Copy of my end.
Get in the water. Put your hands in the air to the water. I can't see you.
Okay, work out some of them kinks. I don't know what's going on, but for some reason it sounds choppy on my end. I did get confirmation that y'all can hear it. So welcome back. Welcome back. The first order of business, as always, is our water check. It's my 10th bottle. So y'all know what time it is. Get your water on. Get in the water. Water check. That's why I was playing the water dance. Hey, that was the shit back in the day when I was young. That was the shit. The water dance. You cannot go wrong playing that in the club or playing that in any party. That was a motivator. Get your ass up on the floor and shake a tail feather. But y'all saw the thumbnail. We're gonna talk about. I hope you guys can hear me. Trying not to be loud in the mic, and maybe I am. I'm just again working out the kinks. I had to reboot my computer, do all kinds of things, and get the green screen right. Isn't she lovely? Isn't she? Isn't she lovely? It's just like black folks to do it halfway. For the longest, I had half a screen. Believe it or not, the first green screen I bought was huge. It was humongous, but it didn't cover the area that I needed it to cover. And I was like, well, damn, And then I bought another green screen that came the other day. So that's what I was trying to do yesterday. But the way my walls are made, I don't know if nowadays, I'm going to tell y'all this. When you're buying little gadgets or whatever online or through Amazon, if you think you need to make sure that it's American made, you need to check that, because if you buy something that looks good, it could have English on it, but if it comes from another country and it's comparable to that country, then the specs going to be off. So like this green screen I bought, I swore I thought it was American. I don't know if it's from overseas. We got here pretty quick, but I got the kind you can hang from the wall. But the dimensions of hanging it from the wall is different than how American beams behind the wall. Because I use a stud finder to try to find the studs, and then I was gonna hang something up in there. I learned that a long time ago, putting holes in the wall that you can't fix right away. So I did that, and the length of this particular thing was incomparable to the length of the beams in between. And as far as I know, every house, every whatever we do in America is going to be kind of the same kind of dimensions. So to me, I feel like, damn, I wasted my money. But my walls are slanted right here on this side of my room. So maybe it'll work better on a straight up and down wall. I don't know. But I got an extra green screen now. Oh, don't worry, I'll find a use for it. But so then I was like, okay, let me just go, make a green screen. And that's what I did. Isn't she lovely? I made it myself. I already had the other half, but I made, the other half. So, thank God for home economics, 6th grade. I'm not creative in that way at all, but shit, I picked up a thing or two from home economics. I don't even remember the teacher, but shit, we learned a little bit of everything: sewing, just arts and crafts, kind of things you need to learn how to do in the home. Of course, they taught us how to do laundry. I know that sounds crazy. And cooking and, different stuff, how to use appliances in the house. And oh, you know, education back then was the bomb. I don't hear too much about home economics nowadays in school, but they need to bring that back and civics because I'm tired of Americans thinking they know how their government work and be saying it's the craziest things, and you're like, you don't even know how your government work, but you got a conclusion on everything. That's crazy. That's crazy, don't y'all think? But anyway, let's get to it. So as I said, today is MMA Wednesday. If anybody wants to talk MMA or whatever, you're welcome to do so. This is your opportunity to get Miss T or TDT on board so I can learn how, this whole world of MMA. I told y'all in the beginning, I didn't watch it because it's kind of vulgar to me. I it's hard to sit through and watch it. And then I don't know how you have a loved one doing that because at least with boxing, you don't know it's the end to this the end. You don't know if somebody's seriously gonna get hurt until hold on one second. Bree? Oh, that's her. You don't know if somebody's gonna seriously get hurt until that punch happened. But with MMA, just sitting there, I be thinking, ooh, he's gonna break his bones, he's gonna, it just be vulgar. So I just chose not to, get into that sport. But hey, a lot of people, especially DJ, shout outs to him, have got me on board with thinking, I'm gonna give it a try. I'm a little older now, so let me try it out. Back then, I might have been squeamish double years ago, but nowadays I might could take it. So Shakur Stevens, he wants cool boy stuff. I think that's interesting. What do y'all think? I think that would be interesting for him to get at cool boy stuff. Um, why not? That's how I see it. He done moved up to 130, talking Shakur Stevens, and he really don't have a lot of opponents to fight or to choose from. Everybody he don't want him. I think Bob wants him to get with Lomachenko. That means he have to go up to 135. Valpez is avoiding him. The dude name is Valdez, but I call him Valpez for y'all new folks because he likes to take banned substance. And of course he Mexican, so he can get away with it. And I hate to say it, but the person who's letting him get away with it is a guy who favors Mexicans and that Mexicans get away with everything. And that's Mauricio Suleiman, the WBC president. And they all let him get away with cheating in his last fight. But Shakur has been wanting this guy for a long time. Now, Shakur was at 126, and somehow he conveniently brushed over Gary Russell Jr. As you know, he's the other avoided fighter in boxing today. It's a handful of them. A lot of people avoid people, but this is like blatant avoidance. And the man can't get a fight, so he's stuck fighting his mandatories. That's why he have a fight once a year. But he also don't want to build up his resume beating tomato cans. He wants a challenge, but eventually it looks like they got their wish. They're gonna age him out or whatever. But a lot of people mosey up right up to 126 or mosey right past it, never having faced Gary Russell Jr. Cool Boy Step is at 122 pounds. So, and he just had a big win over Brandon Figueroa. And so, he has the WBC and the WBO titles. He's a formative partner to match up with, but he has to climb up 2 weight classes to get to Shakur. Because I doubt if Shakur Stevens go down to a 122. But Shakur says he's interested in anybody from that range, from 122 and up. And I ask you guys, what do y'all think? Because he calling out Cool Boy Step. Now, this is what I think about it. That's a good fight. You know why that's a good fight? Because both of them can fight. Both of them can box. And when I tell you, that's going to be an awesome match to see who's going to outthink who. who's stamina wise, who's gonna last. Both of them got great stamina, I'm supposing. That is a good chess game right there. That would be an excellent one. You can almost look at Shakur Stevens and say, what can he do? But you can almost say that about Cool Boy Steph too. What can he do? They just name something that you do in boxing. Both of them seem to have either master it or do it very well. So that is a box that's ooh. I don't know when the last time we ever had that, in boxing where you got two great boxers, pure boxers. I don't know when the last time that ever happened, but hell, that would be interesting to see. Cool Boy Step. Um, like I said, I could tell the little bit of boxing he got to do in his fight with Brandon Figueroa. I was like, wow. I was impressed. I seen him fight before too. And I'm like, oh, that boy the goods. He is the goods. Shakur Stevens, I seen him in his last bout with Jamel Herring. I've seen him fight before. He has a tendency to make people kind of look ordinary. And sometimes his opponents, I haven't seen them fight before, but when they get in there with him, they look ordinary. I'm reminded of that fight where I think he actually took it easy a little bit. Back then he had a girlfriend. Wasn't the woman that I think he's with now, or the woman who just had his baby. But this was some fights ago, maybe a year or two ago. And she was, I want to say Mexican, because her brother was Mexican. And her brother and his family could not stand Shakur. But from my understanding, Shakur really liked that woman. And, they was pretty much getting along. And he tried to respect the guy, even though the guy won't showing him no respect. They wanted to demolish him and beat him. And how dare his black ass get with their sister type thing. And Shakur cared for the girl. You could tell because he is a lot of things he could have said that would have been keeping in the tradition of Shakur Stevens and his upbringing or his background, I should say. He could have said a lot of stuff. He was very respectful. I was there for the drama. I was eating the popcorn like I'm wondering what he gonna say. But he beat the dude so easy. I don't know what this guy's name is. But I know y'all remember the fight because the guy was so emotional. And I don't know if that's why he couldn't do a lot, but Shakur easily beat him. And it was just a beauty to watch. And so all I can say is you know, all them other fighters that he fought, he makes it look easy. I don't know if I say that about Cool Boy Steph yet, but I can tell Cool Boy can fight. I mean, the boy can box. And from what I'm hearing about how he gets down on the road work, oh my God. Like the distance that he be running and shit like that, like, dog, this a fight that I gotta see. Now, are they gonna meet in the middle? Is Cool Boy gonna come up to 126 and then Shakur go back down to 126? Cool Boy right now has 2 belts. What should he do? Should he go for the other 2 belts at 122? I mean, logic dictates he should. But Shakur is the one that's having problems finding the dance partner. I don't think Cool Boy has that problem yet. A lot of, and Shakur might be one of them guys that people avoid. He might have that problem. I was for real suggest to Shakur, I would suggest that he goes up in weight. The bigger he gets, the more he can have opportunities and the more he can make. But staying in the little guy era when you can look at Shakur Stevens and tell, I could see him going up to by the end of his career being at 140, 147. I can tell he has that stature. And I would suggest he just, if he walks around at 145 or something, or 150, he should go on and go up to 135. Because they're not going to fight him at 130. And that's what it's looking like. That's why Shakur is out there saying what he say. So I ask you guys, what y'all think? Mm. I also think that they will bring the best out of each other. I do. And why all this happened? Because Cool Boy Steph proclaimed on social media. It's always with social media, right? Cool Boy Steph proclaimed on social media that he was, that he was interested in 126 up to 130-pound division. And once he opened his mouth and said that, then I guess Shakur got to take it like, oh, you talking about me. So let's get it on then. And that's how all of this started. I don't say any of this like it's a negative thing. It's some bantering going back and forth, but it's some bravado going on, some guys beating their chest, and it's all good. I mean, it's all good. I'm not reading into it like, oh, it's disrespectful and like fuck this nigga and all that. I think it's good for boxing, it's good for their career. Listen, I'm gonna say this. If everybody gonna keep avoiding each other, okay, especially this unwritten rule that we can stall out black fighters, then black fighters need to start just fighting this themselves. Go back to that. Because you can't say that's not a winning strategy. Go back to that and put on a motherfucking show, and eventually they'll come to you. Meaning the fans. The fans will gravitate to you. The fans will rather see you. If you go and fight each other and put on a great show, and y'all just, unwritten rule, do it back to them. Only look to fight each other. And have your sequels and your trilogies. Hell, do it 4 times. Do that. And watch how boxing fans become endeared to you as a fighter and gravitate towards you. Because if you do, let's say Shakur and Cool Boy get into a matchup and they put on a spectacular show. Everybody out there sees. White fans, Latino fans, and that's inclusive of all Latinos, Cuban, Mexican, Puerto Rican, whoever. European fans, put on a show. And you're gonna be considered the creme de la creme, because when these other fighters who be stalling y'all out and be trying to be funny with that come behind you and try to put on the show, they gonna see where the dollars go. Where people will prefer to watch. I'd rather watch a real fight with people going all out. I don't want to watch no soap opera, not in boxing. If I was a person, full disclosure, addicted to soap operas like crazy back in the day. And I can easily become addicted to a soap opera because I like those types of TV shows. However, that's a soap opera. This is a real sport. This is boxing. I don't want to see a soap opera in boxing. You know what I'm saying? And I think that that's the remedy. I think that all these black guys need to just start fighting each other. Because you got, and if there's a white guy or whoever who wants to mix it up, by all means, but I think it should be a real concerted effort for black guys to just start fighting each other. And shit, we get our own magazine, we get our own everything else. We should get our own sanctioned body belt and let that count for something, because this stalling out, these crazy games, this avoidance thing, ruining people's careers. We make up the biggest group of consumers in America, period. We spend more money than any other group, period, in America. So you might as well say the economy be running off of us. So if we doing that and we get black fighters fighting each other and we putting it in strategic black places, then guess what? Y'all will make y'all money back. Make boxing simple again. You know what I'm saying? I'm remembering of Sugar Ray Leonard and Tommy Hearns, and even Roberto Duran. I don't know why I got tongue tied with his name, Roberto. I was calling him like Roberta, like a girl name, Roberto Duran. Even with him in the mix, it wasn't a big deal because back then they fought the best. I mean, could have been some avoidance, yeah, but you didn't make a habit out of it. You know what I'm saying? You got paid. You would get endorsements. Nowadays, everybody wants that Floyd record, and it's killing the sports of boxing because, as I always say, that record was for him only. If that feeds into his big head, then that feeds into his big head. But the record was for him and him only. It's not for you. He was meant to do what he did. You are meant to do what you did. You're not gonna have the success that he have. That ain't guaranteed, and it's not even a probability that it will even be created in the rest of our recreated in the rest of our lives. So, what's the best way to do is to maximize your potential and your sellability. And I just really believe that you guys should chop it up. So I'm actually for the Cool Boy Step and Shakur Stevens fight. I don't know if him talking about Cool Boy, if he goes up in weight, is it possible that he can get back down in weight? See, that in boxing, you have three things to worry about if you're a fighter. You have to worry about your legacy, you have to worry about your career, and you have to worry about boxing. I mean, the business side of it. You have to worry about these three things kind of like simultaneously. You have to. Your legacy, meaning how people going to see you in the end. What's the finished product? Will you live on in infamy? You know what I'm saying? Are you going to the Hall of Fame? How people going to talk about you going into the future? Will there be books? Will there be movies? Your legacy. Will you be the standard bearer of all the fighters behind you? Would they be like, oh, I want to, like, we know people going to say, I want to be like Floyd because they're doing it now. But are they going to say that about you in years to come? So you have to worry about that. That means you have to worry about what you do and the moves you make and who you hang around and how you do business. Okay, cool. Career meaning currently, what you got going on right now, what you doing now, with the decisions you make, how much money you make. I mean, your career. Everything is predicated on what choices you make and how you move in these boxing streets. And I mean, it's like who you fight next. Are you going in the proper order of things? Are you doing things ass backwards? Are you just trying to do a money grab? What? Let us know. Then the business part. And the business is what? It's an entertainment business. So even though you're one individual getting in that ring doing it up by yourself or doing the heavy lifting, as we all say, you are still responsible for thousands of people eating. And if they're not eating, then they're not going to be watching. If they're not eating off you, if you're not sellable or entertaining, then nobody's going to watch you. Now, a lot of Mexican fighters nowadays like to push this narrative of rock'em sock'em. I call it rock'em sock'em. Stand in one place and just hit each other and maybe you move your waist up because that's what they can do. I'm for the sweet science in the way it was intended. You're supposed to move around, hit, but don't get hit. Cause the damage, but don't take none. That's what excites me. So, as a fighter, all you got to do is put on a winning performance and they will come. You remember that thing? If you build it, they will come. Well, I believe that. And I hope they believe that. But if you build it, they will come. So, all those three things, legacy, career, and business side of boxing, you have to worry about that as a fighter. So, yes, you do got to be strategic. Yes, sometimes you got to make decisions that you probably wouldn't make. Like Shakur Stevens right now. He can't sit down and just chill. He's too young for that. He knows that. So he's thinking about his legacy because he has to fight and fight often. He has not reached the pinnacle of his career yet. So he has to think about that. He also has to think about what choices do he make. He can't just take a tomato can on purpose. After a while, he's not going to be interesting. We already know how that fight is gonna end. He's not gonna be motivated to work hard, and then one day he gonna get thrown because you always gotta be on your p's and q's. Because then one day he'll be thrown in with somebody he needed to really work out for. But if you take a string of tomato cans, logic dictates that you're not gonna work out like you need to. Like you're not gonna be ready for a creme de la creme fight. You know what I'm saying? So he can't just pick anybody. So he has to pick the best of the best, right? And the fact that he feels like he has to go out of his division to do that is terrible for him. It's terrible for boxing because we all know there's plenty junior lightweights out there for him to fight. They just don't want to fight him. So now he has to reach backwards. But I'm telling you, Shakur, the one thing I can say in your quest of reaching back, don't forget about Gary. He right there. He right there for the picking. And Cool Boy is looking, he's thinking about his legacy. He's thinking about his career because he's like, hey, anybody from 122 to 130 can get it. He turned into the AB of the smaller division. He the can man. He said he can get it. And that's what woke Shakur up. Like, oh, I can get it? Okay. Let's get it then. But maybe Stevens, just maybe. I don't know because I didn't research it, but just maybe there's not a lot of people down there where he at that he feel like he got to reach out. So these two gentlemen get together and duke it out, something fierce. I mean, like put on a show. Make that thing go viral, whatever. Talk to all the social medias. Give interviews, short and sweet, 5-minute interviews. Go build it up before y'all finalize the date. Go to all the radio shows and places where Black people frequent. I'm not saying this fight isn't for whites, but this fight isn't for other racial groups. I'm just saying, these, they need to bring it back to what made the bread and butter back in the day. Start fighting each other. And don't worry about it. Let them see that you're a hot commodity. And I guess, do what we always done. We always done that as a racial group. If you think about it, if you think about rap, I remember when rap started. Like I was there. I'm dating myself, but y'all know how old I am. I remember when it started, okay? And I remember that the parents didn't too much like it. Not even our parents. They won't press for all that boom, 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 boom. They coming out of Motown era. They coming out of the era when people sang, not just sing, but sang. So they won't try to hear all that rap. But we loved it. We loved it. And to be truthfully honest, rap probably was out there longer than we ever heard. Because I'm going back to my first couple of rap songs that I heard where it was real popular. It was in the 70s, late 70s, 79. Who was it? I go all the way back, Curtis Blow. It could be people before him, but those are my beginning memories. And look at rap today. I said all that to say, look at rap today. I went through that whole phase. I went through phases where I was like, enough with the rap. Because eventually you'll be like, enough with it. And nowadays, it's only a couple of songs, rap songs, that would probably catch my ear. I can listen to old rap all day long, like that station on Sirius XM. I got that in the car, and so I can listen to the old school rap all day, and remember all them songs and everything. But the newer rap, I don't know so much about because I just that's a lot of boom, 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 all day long. When you get older, you don't be pressed for it. That's all it is. Um, but there will be some rap songs that I like, I'm more R&B, whatever the case. But the whole point is, y'all remember when rap came out? Nobody liked it. You had politicians, you had all kinds of people trying to shut it down. It was a whole it was a whole like group of content rolled up in one. Real talk rap can be taught as a humanities, as a part of humanities. Anybody who taking them, I know they kind of trying to water down humanities here and there, different colleges. Not all colleges gonna do that, but when I took humanities, that was a real joint. The school I graduated from, they have now kind of, in my opinion, watered it down. But humanities used to be art, literature, and art, literature, and music. Seemed like it's an easy class, right? Humanities were how you walking around in the daytime with a flashlight looking for somebody. I mean, oh my God. Like when I first started school, I was like, why is everybody tripping? Like in my Spanish class, there was a lot of people coming from a humanities class and they was like devastated. Like it was the hardest class. And I was like, what? Because I always think of it kind of like a history class and history comes easy to me. But when I got in there, you have to be able to take one area. So let's say rap. Now, the art part of rap would be all the graffiti, the different shirts they made, just the art and where it started, originated, and how to draw a proper, you'll just learn the art. The music is self explanatory. You know, what type of music or background music goes with it. When, they went through, is it started kind of like with just the beat and then, and you kind of compare it. You're gonna do some comparisons, like that type of music. Where you think it originated from? All music originate from Africa. That's an easy one. But then it's the beat, and then it's the bass guitar. How important those two instruments are in a rap song, and then you'll go into talking about the sampling of other music and how rap just gained its importance from like James Brown, his concept of how he did music to because he's probably one of the most sampled, and then and then the literature would be the rhymes that they made. How did they were they doing haiku poems? Were they doing this, that, and other? Like, what were they doing when they was putting these words together in rhymes? Guess what? Rap, and I know y'all said, Miss T, what this got to do with boxing? Everything, in my opinion, as far as the pathway that people should go now, because it was something that was considered an eyesore, talking about every part of rap, the graffiti, the way people dressed. It was an expression that was frowned upon. Okay. And it's $1 billion business today. Old people came around, right? People came around. Not only did your parents start coming around, because they was happy to see their little kids doing those break dance and them little moves that was so different than what they did. And you could tell that was creativity and that was talent right there. Because can't know anybody just break dance or pop lock or whatever. So you seeing that and you like, wow, my child is lyrical. My child can dance. My child, can draw, all this stuff. So that brought our parents into the fold. But then to be this many years later, it warms my heart when I hear people that groups of people that would have ordinary been against it back in the day to be blasting it and playing it and just love it and be like, oh, they just embrace it. And I be like, wow, y'all took us through a lot of shit when it was brand new and out. And that's how boxing got to look at it. I don't hate to say this. I mean, it's the truth. Black people are trendsetters. They are. Gays too, but black people are trendsetters. And if this thing with Shakur Stevens and Cool Boy Steph got me to thinking about everything I just told you. because guess what? If both of them avoided, I don't know if Cool Boy Steph is avoided, but I definitely feel like Shakur is being avoided. He's not getting what he want. Well, why don't them two be the start of black fighters fighting each other again? Mayweather came up with a winning strategy because he was like, your hate, whether you hate me or like me, you're going to pay to see me. And people who hate me, money is what color? Green. People who like me, money is what color? Green. Green capital or money is the universal religion. I always say that it's the universal religion. Everybody will always love some kind of capital. If you're in the UK, you're gonna talk about their pounds, or the Russia, the rubles, or everybody else. The damn what shit, the euro. That quick. And I was in Europe when that changed. Like literally the day it changed, I was there. Like because I was living in Europe then. But money will always be there. Like if people hate you or people like you, they're gonna, if they hate you, they're gonna pay to see you lose. If they like you, they're gonna pay to see you win. Now that's where that strategy came from, really, with the Mayweather or the money team, because guess what? He, like one time he said, you might as well call me Golden Boy because I done beat everybody in your squad. He ain't lie. Told Oscar that shit right on the stage. He didn't lie because they were so sure that they were better. It meant something more to them than just beating an opponent. It meant, Mayweather kind of had the black people on his back. Little do we give him credit for, or no, because to beat him meant you're better and beat all of black folks. And that's not us, wanting it to be that way or putting it out there. That's them, you know, pushing for that narrative. That's why Canelo is doing what he's doing now. Because they spent years trying to push this narrative that is almost, if you ask Canelo or you ask people around him, Latinos invented boxing. He act like they the only group in the world who participates in this sport. They want to rule this sport, and I don't agree with it. It doesn't matter where you go, you will have pockets of people all around the world who can get down with them hands. You can go to Ukraine, you can go to Russia, you can go to Europe, you can go, of course, America is the Mecca, you know. You can go to Canada, you can go to southern parts of America, Southern America, South America, or or Mexico or Central America. Boxing is for everybody. The pugilistic sport is for everybody. But that narrative is stalling a lot of black fighters out unfairly and not giving them an opportunity to pursue their happiness and get their fight on, to get an opportunity and everything. And you know what? When I think of this that they be trying to push, or how they stalling out black fighters, it makes me respect Floyd Mayweather even more when he was active, because he was carrying a whole generation before and after. He was carrying all of us on his back because he was the catalyst, or he was the guy to make sure they say nothing, and he didn't let that happen. So shout out to Mayweather for that. I know that Mayweather steps in it and he be, on some clown shit sometimes or whatever. And we can't call you out, Floyd, but when it comes to that boxing, you was numero uno. And you did represent us well. So I can say thank you. And again, I gleaned all of this. Y'all might be like, Miss T, you crazy. I thought about all of this when I read the article about Shakur Stevenson having to go so far back, having to reach out, having to have a range of people who he want to fight. He just can't be a regular fighter, because look at what's going on in boxing today. And that's a shame. That needs to stop. and it needs to be free and fair for everybody. It doesn't matter which sect you claim, what religion you come from, what you actually look like. Canelo, for that, I do not like. Now, I am somewhat okay with the fact that he's a proud Mexican. I can't do nothing but respect him because I'm proud to be black. And this is why I love Deontay Wilder. You know, as a fan, I love Deontay Wilder because he's unapologetically black. And he carries himself the way I would hope a black king will carry himself. But so I'm not mad at Canelo for repping his group and all that stuff. But you know, there's a way to do it where you don't have no hidden agenda. And that's I don't like his agenda. And like I said, it we didn't even think about the agenda back then, but Floyd must have knew. He did what he had to do. So shout outs to Floyd. Again, shout outs to people like Deontay Wilder. Canelo, we not mad at you for being pro Mexican or pro Latino or whatever. Because as I see now, you know, being at the fight with Sanchez, you was all for Sanchez. Now next is giving me pause. Because everywhere you go and everything you touch, I be like, ooh, what's good? What is good? Because we don't know. But we shall see. Now I gotta look at Sanchez with both my eyes wide open. I can't miss nothing. Cause yeah, some ain't all the way good with that. And then he recently had that. Well, I don't know if he started it, but there was some kind of controversy with his age. So either he lying about his age or something. Yeah, we gotta look into that. We gotta pay attention. Because Canelo is smoking mirrors. He's an illusionist. Okay, moving on. Luis Ortiz suffered a hand injury in this fight with Charles Martin. I did not know that until I read the article today. And he probably suffered it hitting him, beating him down and shit like that. He won't face a second eliminator with Philippe Hergovich. And the fact that they wanted him to go through two ranking eliminators is crazy to me. Why go through all that type of shit? Why do they even put that on people? Like that's crazy. So three people have to fight for the be what? Title eliminator. And title eliminator don't guarantee you a fight for the title. The panel of that sanctioning body has to meet up and decide which one of you they want to pick. So you can be in the top 5 and depending on the rules of that sanctioning body. So I really don't know what that was about. I do know that he actually did not want to fight Herkovich, not because he was scared, but it was like I just did a title eliminator with Charles Martin. So automatically, motherfucker, I'm numero uno. That's basically how he felt. I'm putting my own stank on it, but that's pretty much how he felt. And so for to come back and ask him that he need another title eliminator with somebody else, that's just crazy. I would feel the same way too. So he didn't even want that even before we hear about the hand injury. I don't know how true the hand injury is. Luis Ortiz is going to take his word at it or whatever. So basically, because Ortiz is kind of out of the situation, like he cannot fight somebody with a broke hand or injured hand, Joseph Parker and Herkovich will probably get it on. But Ortiz manager said that his name is Jay Jimenez. He was like, they want the fight. But Herkovich manager niece Sarlin said that Ortiz can't take the fight. He said he can't take it. He didn't say that they didn't want it or whatever. He said he can't take it his hands, you know. So I don't know how that's gonna work out. I'll be keeping my eye on that and looking into that and everything. Meanwhile, the zone, Eddie Hearn and top ranked Bob Arum is in talks to match up Andre with Zanabik after all. Maybe they would go down. Maybe they go down this year in the first quarter. That's what they hoping for. This is considered to be a more risky fight for Andre. I don't know much about this dude, Zanabik. Maybe I gotta go look up his previous fights, but apparently he has heavy hands and he likes to throw them. Andre was considering moving up to 168, like vacating his belt because of this nonsense, just to go meet Canelo. And to be truthfully honest, Andre, even though we don't know it, he stayed pretty busy. Um, he don't get a lot of fanfare. But this is why when Destiny was asking me, Destiny Black, that is, shout out to her. That's why when she was asking me on my show, who do I pick as like promoter of the year, or that from that list of people who won, and I was like Eddie Hearn, because why? Um, yeah, it don't matter what promoter you bring up right now, Eddie, Oscar, Bob, Mayweather. Is there anybody else? Whoever, there will always be some kind of devilish shit going on behind the scene. Always, always. But Eddie Hearn's fighters, you never hear them come out protesting any kind of way that they don't get paid. Because if you do the job, you do the deed, you should get paid, right? Simple as that. But you never hear anybody come out and say, you know what, he didn't pay me, da 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 da. You know, but here lately, you be hearing about the PBC and how some of their people ain't getting paid. But then some people say, oh, well, they got their guarantee. I don't care if it's guaranteed back money, whatever. If you owe me $5, you owe me $5. If you owe me $100, you owe me 100. We talking thousands. We talking millions. So my question was the other day when I was just talking about good business or whatever. If you was guaranteed $1 million, but you was supposed to get like 15 on the back end, and you ain't got that yet, but yet you done 2 or 3 more fights since then. What the fuck? You know what I'm saying? So while we can't feel sorry for Andre, I'm not feeling sorry for Andre because he's a millionaire. Eddie has made him a millionaire. If he probably was close to being one beforehand, Andre don't showboat and carry himself like, yeah, I got all this money, but the man got bank. He got bank. And so it's not about the money. He's thinking about his career and legacy. As I just broke down those 3 things: legacy, career, and business. So he's thinking about his legacy. And since he have shown the interest and pushed the envelope just a tad bit to get a fight on with Canelo, now all of a sudden is, to me, in my opinion, we gotta order him to fight this dude. We gotta order him to fight this guy. And it's a risky guy. Nobody knows who he is, but it's not like the guy can't do nothing to Andre. He's really a high risk, low reward. Zanovic is. Now Andre, I would say like this: it's totally up to Andre in this situation. If you're gonna stay in the 168 division, I mean the 160 division, then you gotta fight him. PGA's big dog. He says, salute Queen T. Salute to you, King. Andre, if you're gonna stay at 160, you gotta fight this guy. I'm not worried about him fighting him or whatever. It's his choice. He have always expressed interest of dropping his belt and going on up to 168. That's his choice too. But it's no guarantee that if he activate the mandatory, which he'll be for Canelo, that Canelo is going to face him. Canelo is never going to fight him probably. He's going to drop them belts, and you'll never hear from Canelo again. And if he dropped them belts, then who is Andre going to face if the goal was going after Canelo? So what, they going to let him get into a box out for the vacant title? All of that stuff is not guaranteed. PGA's big dog said Shakur need to call out Oscar Valdez. No chance he fighting Cool Boy, 122 pounder, and a PBC fighter stop the cap. He been calling PGA's. He been calling for Oscar Valdez forever. They not gonna let him fight. You know what's crazy about the PGA? Valdez and Shakur Stevens all work for Bob. That's the crazy part, right? That should be the easiest fight. But we know how Bob do with his black fighters. He shelves them. I really do believe that he gains control. He likes to have them in-house with him so that you don't derail who he really wants to spruce up and put on the pedestal. Right now, that's still on Machinko. Bob, for whatever reason, don't want him to fight Valdez, but he's pushing for Lomachenko. Now, either he know Lomachenko will win, because Lomachenko can box, though. So can Shakur, but Lomachenko is bigger. And I don't know if Shakur, is he the type fighter that walk around at 150 and he just drops to 130, or can he even drop to 135 and be okay? Fuck Bob and his MBF policy. No black fighters. And look who all he just collected. Keyshawn Davis, his brother, and a lot of the Olympian teams, because he wants to control them. Bob would never change. He too long in the tooth. He's never going to change. And the fact that I don't know if you was here listening in the beginning, PGA. A lot of y'all listening while y'all at work, and I thank y'all. Thank y'all. I so appreciate it. But I was saying in the beginning that the only reason this came about is because Cool Boy Steph proclaimed that he want people from 122 to 130. So if he says that, then Shakur is like, wait a minute now. Then you asking for me. So my question was, do they do a catch weight? Do they come in the middle? Now, if they're going to be going up and down on this scale, what about Mr. Gary Russell Jr.? Can we keep overlooking him? These black fighters are fools for signing with him. I'm looking at Jay Prince funny for moving black fighters to bum rank. Yeah. They're a fool because for me it would be about pride and dignity. If you don't value me as a black woman, then I just cannot be on your team about nothing. And it don't take much for somebody to show me that I have no value in their eyes, and I'm done with you. I'm looking at you sideways all the time, and you will never know, because it ain't even worth talking about. You feel me, PGH? It don't even be, sometimes it just don't even be worth talking about. But sometimes I try to put myself in the mindset of these young fighters who was standing by. We all knew about Keyshawn Davis. We knew he was coming. You see how good that dude is. We knew who was standing by to give this man a one leg up so he didn't have to sign with Bob. Who where those people at? And we always talk about brotherly love or helping the black guy. We tired of the fate of the black man. Who was standing by to help him? Because the way it look right now, PBC ain't the hot ticket item to go to neither. They're not the hot ticket item. And damn show shouldn't go to Oscar. Only person that, and it's kind of the same reasons why you wouldn't fuck with Bob is why I wouldn't do Matchroom, because Eddie Hearn and his daddy over there, and more so it's his daddy that's probably more like Bob. But I will tell you this, Eddie will put you in the fights. He will get you fights, and Eddie will pay you. And that's a lot that I could say for any other promoting company, to include Mayweather. But where was these guys for the young Keyshawn Davis? If I could help, I would do it. If I knew the business inside and out and all that, I don't. I don't know enough about it to even get in that and get in there, But if I could, I would. But where is all these people to help these young fighters, these young black fighters who's going to make a what we would call a bad business choice, and now he locked in. Now he's locked in with Bob, and ain't nothing nobody can do about it. So when he don't get the fights that people want him to have, we're gonna take it out on him. That's what's gonna happen. But if he'd signed with the zone, then he definitely wouldn't be getting the fights because everybody want to play this side of the street and that side of the street. That bullshit. But I suggested, I don't know, tell me what you think, PGH, that black fighters need to start going back to fighting each other. We don't see that enough. And they need to put on a spectacular show. And if you build it, they'll come. Because there was a time when black fighters did fight each other, and it was a big to do. And I explained how the shift changed and how it was Mayweather. Mayweather was put in that position. I don't envy Mayweather for this, but he was put in that position. He had to make lemonades out of the lemons that he was given. The narrative of Latinos inventing boxing or acting like they're the second coming when it comes to boxing, or they the best thing since sliced bread, that shit been going on since way back, even when Mayweather came in. It's just he was the prime piece for them to throw some legitimacy behind what they're trying, the narratives that they were trying to push, and you just couldn't beat Mayweather. So again, hate money is green, like money is green, and Mayweather played into their own narrative. He was like, okay, you hate to see a nigga win. You hate to see us gain anything. So I will fight. I'll be your huckleberry. I'll fight all your Latino fighters and beat all that ass. And now what? And that's what he did. He and in that sense, historically, he carried the black race on his shoulders, in a sense. I know we don't like to get at to Mayweather, but he did. He made it that much harder for them to push these narratives that they trying to push. And in pushing, I know some people say, Miss T, what you talking about? But in trying to push these narratives, you are stalling. This is the actual thing, the tangible thing we see. You're stalling black fighters out. Whereas a fighter gotta say, I need to fight somebody from this weight class to this weight class, and it's like 3 weight classes in the range. Because at his weight class, even though it's thousands of fighters, thousands of fights to be had, nobody wants to fight him. We see that with Shakur now. We're starting to see that. He's not getting what he asked for. He's not getting what he wants. Now, either Bob wants to destroy Shakur because he probably think Shakur is on his way out the door. He's going to pull a Terrence on him. Or, so he wants to feed Shakur to the wolves, i.e. Lomachenko. Or Shakur get up there and beat the dog shit out of Lomachenko, and then what Bob going to have? And still leave Bob. I don't know. I don't even know about his contract. I know he signed with Top Rank. He's been with Top Rank for a minute. It's been years. He's been quiet. He's been in the background. Bud left. He'll probably leave. Keyshawn Davis, they over there working with Bo Mack and Bud and them. But hey, he signed with Bob. And Bud or Shakur cannot front him money or whatever. But again, I say, where is the people that say, hey, before you sign with anybody, let me help you out? Because everybody's like a crab in a bucket going for themselves. Talk a good game, but they going for themselves. But this narrative, some of these Mexican fighters want to push, it is affecting black fighters now. And they need to stop. And so to me, I thought the remedy, it's like I went through the whole thing about how rap started and what it is today, to the point that you could teach it as a class in college, in any college, Harvard, Berkeley, Stanford, HBCUs, whatever college. It is a worthwhile subject, and it could fall under humanities. But when it started off, it was a wet food stamp. That's how it was treated. But we knew it was the goods, and we kept at it. And look at it today, $1 billion business. So black people do set trends. We are the biggest consumers in this country, period. Have been for decades and probably always will. So How about black fighters instead of waiting for these fights that you want? And I'm not blaming white fighters, just so you know. Like I don't even know of any particular white fighter that's out there on that mess. Maybe it's not enough of y'all or Ukraine fighters. Anything. I ain't got a problem with y'all. Cause y'all be out there like shit, run it. That's how y'all be, and that's how you should be. But Latin, not, and I don't know if it's Puerto Ricans. I definitely know it's some Mexicans, not all Mexicans, but it is some Mexicans. And it's like you create all you gotta do if for those Mexicans that believe in this bullshit, create your own legacy. Don't be a cheater. Create your own legacy. We will remember you. Chavez Sr. gets a lot of props. They will never forget him. But he created his own legacy. Canelo is an asterisk. Y'all can like him, and y'all will probably be the only ones, but we ain't liking him because he's an asterisk. He's a cheater. Why would I like a cheater? You feel me? Hold on. Why would I like a cheater? I'm not gonna like no cheater. But I always make this joke that 100 years from now, when we are all gone, when they start talking about Muhammad Ali and all that, he's gonna be a Mexican. That's how they're gonna write him up as. I mean, consensus writing, sensational writing is going to be upon us. And you already seeing that right now. So, but back to Boo Boo. Good luck to Boo Boo. I don't know what he gonna do. Either way, I'm support Boo Boo whatever he decide to do. If he want to move up, he want to move up. If he want to stay down there, because that's another fighter whose civil liberties. Because at this point, it's the civil liberties thing to me, who's being violated. Your pursuit of happiness, which we are all promised in this country as citizens. And when they doing this fugaziness to these black fighters, I think they are violating their civil liberties, and that is nothing to be taken lightly. You know what I'm saying? And so look, Teofimo, right? Teofimo Lopez. I'm glad he's feeling better and he's coming back. I am a Teo fan. I don't love him. I'm a fan of boxing, so I like anybody who I think can get it down and throw them hands. And T.O. is one of them. Now T.O. ran his mouth, and I don't hold no criticism back from anybody that I like or don't like. Um, it will be kind of tricky. Sometimes I might not, I might omit some stuff, but I would never cap or cake or whatever they call it for any fighter. I don't care how I feel about them personally. But because like I said, if Deontay Wilder was to come out here and start acting a fool, acting a monkey, I'd be like, I would call him out. And y'all know this Deontay country over here. I might as well find a way to put that up on the screen. This is Deontay's country over here. Y'all know where I get that quick story. Right before they tried to do an insurgence on the Capitol, and yes, that was an insurgence. All of them should be arrested and put in jail. They are not patriots of this country, and that's how I feel about them. But before they was trying, like leading up to that, they was parking all around DC. Anybody ever been to DC? I know some of you guys on the West Coast don't get to go to DC a lot, but I live, I grew up in Virginia, so I'm right there, But DC is a weird looking city. Like on movies and stuff, the way it don't look like that in real life. You not only you in the capital and the city, and you're next to this and you're next to that, and some highfalutin people and highfalutin places, but you in smack in the hood too. Like I mean, it's all a combination, right? So these guys was parking their car, and somebody put it up, like somebody had put the video up, and their face was like in the corner of the video, but we could see the video. Had a nerve to have the Trump shit on and all this bullshit. And it was some old men sitting on the porch. Black people, we funny as hell. But you can tell these like some old domino playing, spade playing. This is the older guys just living out the rest of their day sitting on the porch. And they said, "What the hell you doing, young man?" You know, their voice was like an old guy or whatever. And he said, "Oh man, you better move that car. This Biden country over here." That shit was funny because the whole time he was trying to tell him, "Move your car, man, get it out of here." And the dude was gonna leave it there and go off and cause hell and havoc, and then come back into the neighborhood and get in his car and go. And dude was like, the old man was like, "This Biden country." Mm-mm-mm. And ever since I heard that, I just take it upon myself to use it. This Deontay country right here. But back to Teofimo Lopez. He's claiming he's gonna be undisputed at the 140 division. T.O. cannot make 135 no more. He has to move up. And even though I'm not using it as an excuse, he did have a fatal medical issue the night of that fight. And he's lucky to be alive. So shout outs to I would say God willing. You know, that nothing happened to him. George Cambosa won the fight fair and square. No excuse for T.O. I think if T.O. would have just stuck to his original date and got it over with. Sometimes people don't know how to prioritize, and that's the weirdest thing. Because T.O., you had the opportunity. It's like I'm talking to him right now. You had an opportunity to fight June 19th. I think that was the date. Whether one person or 10 people or 10,000 people showed up or whatever, you was going to get paid. It's not like you had to deal with Thriller for the rest of your, is it Thriller or Triller? Whatever. You didn't have to deal with that company for the rest of your boxing career. They knew on the scene, and when boxing promoters try to come in or be new on the scene, that is the time for the boxer. This is business wise an opportunity for you to take, get your feet wet, get some of that, bread that they throwing around, because they don't, 9 times out of 10 they ain't gonna know what they gonna do. They don't know what to do. Like Eddie Hearn, they don't know the market. If you don't know what you're getting into, you're gonna make mistakes. But in the meantime and in between time of you making mistakes, you throwing money hand over fist. His pay was not predicated on how much ticket sales he had. He could have had that fight and still have the belts that he have. I read an article again today that said he was undefeated. Like as if that means some shit. Like, no, you was not undefeated. And the fact that you lost the belts, TL, when you go up to 140, you're not promised anything. But because you were a holder of many belts, you was only missing that one belt. I'm sure you'll get some kind of leeway where you don't have to start from rock bottom. But when you come up, you got some heavy hitters you got to deal with before you start thinking about, let me get at Josh Taylor. Because you putting the cart before the horse, you have to earn this stuff. Now, if you become a champion and then a unified champion and then undisputed at 140, hell yeah, you like guaranteed Hall of Fame. And you probably going to the Hall of Fame now. So you took care of your legacy, but you were not undefeated. And these people got to stop saying that. It's like they need to not say that about George Cambosa. You keep reading that to the person who's a casual who reads that, they gonna start believing that that's what they were. And I'm telling you, if you have an extra belt out there, then that don't make you undisputed. Devin Haney has the WBC regular belt. He's the regular champion. And so anybody else who hold all those belts, whether it's George right now, whether he give T.O. a rematch, which I doubt if he do, whether he fight Lomachenko, which I doubt, I hope he don't, or Devin. When Devin and George meet up, that end of that fight, we will have an undisputed champion. Not a minute sooner. Not a minute sooner. So people who've had those belts before George, no, you were not undisputed. And like I said, I don't all put all the blame at Tio's feet for believing that he was undisputed, because that's how they talk to him. So but since he lost his belt, he is not guaranteed a title shot. And that's the truth. So he has to start, and I said start at least from the middle. I mean, that would be a solid. You shouldn't have to make T.O. go all the way down to the bottom, but start from the middle, work your way up. And when he came out and said he's going to be undisputed, the fans jumped on him negatively. So, he got a lot of rebranding and all kinds of stuff. I hope, there was some advice thrown out to him over these last couple of months. One was to get a new trainer. Your dad is taking you as far as he can go. He ain't saying that he can't work with you, behind closed doors, but like, your dad cannot be the person who people talk to about the business. You're gonna have to be a grown man and take over your life, your business as a grown man. And your dad is just gonna have to hear about it second like everybody else. That's to me, that's sound advice. I hope T.O. took it. Moving on, people or fans are giving Martin the Chisora treatment. Y'all remember when Chisora just had a fight and they was like, "Oh, you're old man, hang it up." And Chisora was like, "Fuck y'all. You don't like my fighting? Don't watch. If you don't want to see it, don't watch me. But I got some more fights, that I can do. So I don't give a care what y'all say." Well, they treating Martin the same way, and he basically giving the same response. But do we care? Do we care if Martin? I really don't. For me, he can go. For me, you know, heavyweight ankle suffered either way. I didn't know he was as tall as he was. He's a big boy. He's 6'5". I didn't know he was that tall. Um, Martin feel like he's got more fights in him too. He can fight all the notable top heavyweights and all that, but we'll see. AJ, in other news, got dropped in the WBA ranking to number 5 behind Usyk, Daniel Dubois, Michael Hunter, Robert Helenius, and Huey Fury. That's the shit that made me even talk about this. Who the fuck is Huey Fury? We know who he is. He's Tyson's brother, but who the hell he fought? To even be on a heavyweight ranking? Come on, are you serious? The WBA is on some BS right now. Huey Fury? Who has he fought? He don't even come on TV. That's how insignificant he is. And every time I see him, he look like a fat ass clown with all that curly hair and shit. Are you serious? And AJ is after him, and then Wilder is after AJ. Are you serious? Wilder lost to one person. AJ lost to two different people. How is Wilder behind him? And Wilder isn't even ranked on the top 10. He's not even ranked in the top 10 as far as the IBF. How? That's the question I have for y'all. How? That don't even make sense. Or the WBO. He's ranked number 1 with the WBC. And I just said, ain't this some bullshit? All of this. As far as the ranking is concerned. Like, I don't even know how they come up with it. But see, this is what I mean by you might be an individual fighting in there, but you're feeding thousands. And them thousands feel like they got a stake in what you do or what you have and what you receive. And so this is a classic case of that, the heavyweight is the creme de la creme of all the boxing divisions. And for them to be trying to orchestrate who they think is the best and who should be top, I can't stand it. That's why I said this is Deontay country over here. You ain't gonna give him his props. We gonna give him his props. I'm gonna give him his props. Sanchez, like I said, works with Canelo. So showing that Canelo is a little bit more pro Latino. I thought it was pro Mexican only, but I see him coming out the woodwork supporting other Latinos or whatever, which I don't have a problem with. But my only question would be, why is it okay for you see how I can say that I don't have a problem with it, but why is it okay for Canelo to be unapologetically Mexican or Latino, and it's a problem when Deontay do it? That's a good question. That's a relevant question. Um, I ain't mad at Canelo for being pro Latino or pro Mexican. Not at all. But I don't know what makes other people mad that Deontay or any black man who gets up there and show himself to be unapologetically black and all the strife he's going to catch from just being that way. I just, for me, I find that curious. But that's a good question, and I'll leave that as an open question for somebody to answer. Y'all already see, I play it down the middle. I don't care what other people do, so they shouldn't care what we do. If Canelo was on the up and up and he was a straight up non-cheating fighter, I could be a fan, no problem. I like Isaac Cruz, and he's under Pacquiao's banner. Y'all know how I feel about Pacquiao. I don't hate Pacquiao, but he's a cheater too, in my eyes. So anybody who's with him, like Max Sale, Casimero, and now Isaac Pitbull Cruz, I should be like feeling a certain way about him. But I actually like Cruz. Cruz will have to do something that make me say, fuck him. So I'm equally in displaying whether I like you or not, or actually liking you or not based on your character and how your traits in the ring. I don't care that you're Mexican, good enough for me. You're a human being. You have a right to be there. But if you start that old nut shit, I will turn on you quick. So Isaac, the best thing he could do, don't become no cheater. Please don't. No matter how many people he come around, because all of them gonna want to claim him now. And I'm for it. I'm for his success. All for it, all the way in. Don't become no cheater. And don't start no shit with no black folks. Don't start up no racial shit. Don't jump on that bandwagon. And watch, as Mexican fighters out there, you guys can have black fans, white fans, you can have all kinds of fans. That's just gonna maximize your career and opportunities you may get. And the business side, you'll make a lot of money. So that's the way to go. But in the meantime and in between time, while we waiting for everything to be straightened out and everything, I totally believe, and I hope people can echo this, I believe that black fighters need to start just fighting each other. They will come. If you build it, they will come. Trust me on that one. But that's all the time I have today, y'all. Thank you for being understanding. I hope y'all smash the like button and subscribe. I keep forgetting to say that throughout my broadcast, but I didn't come in yesterday because I had technical difficulties. Isn't she lovely? I love this green screen. And the fact that I had to kind of like make one at the end, I got two of them now, but can't use one. So I had to make the second one. Ain't that crazy? Home economics. Bring it back to the schools. Bring home economics back to middle school and civic, please. Please. For these, we're going to have to, as we get older, we're going to have to rely on these young people to run the country. And we're raising fools because they don't know nothing. They don't know about this country and how it's supposed to work and this, that, and the other. And they listening to bitter people that tell them, don't do this and don't do that. And guess what? Some of them people either got nothing. So why would you listen to them? And then some of them got everything. So while they telling you don't do this and don't do that, when it comes to your country, then what's gonna happen to you? They're not gonna care. They're gonna be fine. Because I can tell you right now, it don't matter which way this country go. Y'all can fuck around and bring Trump back if you want to. T gonna be good either way. Doesn't matter what y'all do. It don't matter who's in office. I pick people that's gonna help the average man, the little guy, the middle guy. That's the leaders that I pick. That's gonna help them. I could do good. It don't matter who you put in there. I'm gonna do good, you know. So that's how I look at it. But y'all can pick who you want and tell us how that work out for you. That's what I'm gonna say. I guarantee you, in your lifetime, you ain't gonna realize nothing. You ain't gonna come to nothing that's grand, and you ain't gonna be happy. So, I'm saying all this because this is the year I usually turn it up on the voting, and so I advocate that everybody votes because even when you don't vote, you are voting. And I will probably say something like that every now and then. But to each his own. People can feel how they want to feel. This is how I feel. And so if you people got a problem with it, I don't know what to tell them because I don't have a problem with how they feel. We all can have problems. Let me take that back. We can have our problems, but my problems with how a person feels, if they feel opposite of me, won't stop me from breaking bread with that person or talking to them or doing a solid for them or being nice or friendly with that person. It doesn't stop me, but maybe it stop people the other way around. And if that's you're gonna have to look into yourself. I'm too old for all that getting all upset and let me just blow it up, that anarchy shit. I'm not with it. So anyway, I will see you guys tomorrow. Tomorrow we're gonna have grown woman talk. I apologize for not being here yesterday because I know some people was looking for me too. But I promise you I'll be here tomorrow. Whenever I don't come is a reason, y'all. But thank y'all for joining me, and I'll see y'all tomorrow. Peace.